Prank war time. No, my wife got me last week, so I gotta get her back. I think this should do the trick. She's gonna be home any second now. Oh,
Babe? Babe, I'm home.
Ah.
Oh my god! What the fuck?
I got you so good. I got you so good. Cause you did this last week, and I said to get you back. I'm sorry.
Oh, not cool. I didn't film that shit. Oh my god.
Where are you going?
I have to fucking pee.
Oh my god. Come on, don't be angry. Oh my god. Who is at the door this late at night? Hello? Okay. Hey, whoa! Oh my god! Oh my god! What is wrong with you? Wait, how did you?
Oh, you're so good.
What do you already got? Wait. What are you talking about? How did you get back out here so fast?
What do you mean? I just got home.
Hang on a second. How did you get back to the...
Hey, what was out the door? What was happening? What was happening to you?
Babe, what is happening?
What is going on?
What is going on?
Hey, it's me. Who the fuck is talking to you?
What is happening?
In the 1800s, there was a law in Thailand that stated if any commoners touched a member of the Thai royal family, they would be punished with death. This law was strictly enforced and there were no exceptions to the rule. It was originally put in place to protect the royal family from anyone who might be trying to harm them, and to keep the royals from being touched by their filthy commoners. Everyone in the country, from the elderly to the toddlers, knew that they were not to touch royalty under any circumstances. But in May of 1880, this law would result in the death of 2 royal family members. As the pregnant queen and her young daughter were traveling to their vacation home, their boat flipped while crossing a river. The queen and her daughter were thrown into water in front of hundreds of onlookers. But before anyone could jump into the water to help, the royal guard stepped in and reminded them that touching the queen or her daughter would result in their own deaths. So instead of rescuing the drowning royals, the entire crowd watched in horror as the queen, her princess, and the unborn baby all sunk to the bottom of the river and drowned. The king grew so angry after hearing the news of his family's demise that he had her guard members executed for not ordering a rescue. He would then go on to give his wife one of the most expensive funerals in the history of their kingdom, as well as a monument in the yard of the home the 2 were trying to visit when they perished.
Here are some photos taken right before disaster, part 6. This is the last photo ever taken of Steve Irwin. Steve Irwin was probably the most famous Australian TV personality ever. He was famous for his efforts to rehabilitate injured wild animals. Unfortunately for him, this particular stringer right here disagreed and stung him right in the chest with its tail. Moments after this picture was taken, Steve actually ended up passing away. R.I.P. legend. This is the last photo ever taken of Bud Doyer. This blacked out thing in his hand is a gun. He was the treasurer of Pennsylvania between 1981 and 1987. After being accused of bribery and withholding taxes, he pulled out this gun on live television and shot himself right in the head in front of millions of people. That's actually insane.
What the heck? I just experienced your worst nightmare. Trust me, this was super creepy, so let's check it out. Me and my friends were swimming in a local river in Mexico when we stumbled upon this random rock. Although it may look like a normal rock, if you take a closer look, you might be surprised with what you find. But look how many spiders there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13. These white dots behind me are all spider eggs. There were so many spiders, but we could barely see them because they were camouflaged and we had no idea if they were poisonous. And it's safe to say that was the last time we swam in that river.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Part 35. This creature is known as a woolly monkey, and due to poachers and people trading and selling them illegally, there's only 1,000 of these little guys left in the world. The uncanny valley is a phenomenon in which people become fearful at things that are very close to human, but something isn't quite right. Throughout history, mummies actually weren't that rare. That is, until the Victorian British ate so many of them. During the Arctic exploration, one of the scientists was complaining that his shoes were soaking wet. Later, when he took them off, he found this was because his feet were decaying and liquidized with his blood. A man once donated his recently deceased mother's body for scientific research. Later, he discovered that the research facility sold it to the US Army for $5,000, strapped it to a chair, and blew it up with explosives.
From Hollywood, the dating capital of the world, it's The Dating Game.
In 1978, the popular game show known as The Dating Game would invite 3 guests on to compete for a chance to take Cheryl Bradshaw on a date. It wouldn't be until years later that they would realize contestant number 1, Rodney Akala, was an active serial killer. What makes this story even more shocking is the fact that he won. Luckily, Cheryl would later turn down the date due to finding Rodney to be too creepy. Talk about trusting your gut.
A bachelor number 1. I am serving you for dinner.
Oh.
What are you called and what do you look like?
I'm called the banana, and I look really good.
Can you be a little more descriptive?
Peel me.
This is why you should always sleep with your lights on. In 1991, a man named Christopher Case was found dead in his bathtub, fully clothed in the fetal position. When police interviewed his best friend Sammy, she told them about a very disturbing phone call she got from him the night before he died. On the call, he told her that the previous night he had woken up to what sounded like whispering coming from underneath his bed. When he went to look, he couldn't move. As he laid helplessly, he watched a black figure pull itself out from underneath his bed. Once it was fully upright, it reached down and began choking him until he passed out. The next morning when he came to, he felt his neck and it was swollen and bruised. And then he saw blood on his hands and he saw that there were deep, uniform incisions on each of his fingertips. As he's saying all this to Sammy and telling her how scared he is to go to bed that night, he suddenly stops and he says, "I hear whispering outside my room." Then the phone went dead.
Worst ways people have died. Part 26.
During a Mazar Football Association match, the player knocked in a rebound after a free kick and bounced off the left goal post. He attempted to front handspring, which he pulled off, but when he tried to do the backwards somersault, he landed on his face, which ended up breaking his back.
The scariest places on earth and why you do not want to find yourself anywhere near them. And don't forget to check out my YouTube with the link in the bio. The Devil's Pool is a common attraction because the size of the falls are double that of Niagara, plus the rocky formation allows you to hang near the edge. But one too many people get a little too close every year and end up getting claimed by the falls, never to be seen again. Centralia, Pennsylvania is a wasteland that has had an underground mine fire burning since the 1960s. Very few people dare to go here as the air is so toxic it can be lethal. In what's probably the creepiest, the village of Nagoro in western Japan became deserted, so the very few people who remained filled the empty spaces of the town with life-sized dolls.
Buzz.
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 Buzz. Bazooka.
いや、アホすぎるでしょ。観音って読んだこれ。
あ、これ観音ね。
ほんと帰ろうってくる。
観音。
戻ろう。でも戻ろう。
なんでここにあるんだろうね、こんな人形。
な。意味わかんない。
戻ってくれます。
結局飲むうんこにと思ったら派手すぎないこれ。どうした？
やばいやばいやばいやばいやばいやばいやばいやばいやばいやばいあれやばいって。
何が？
全然普通じゃん。あの人形やばいってマジで。全然普通じゃん。じゃあ帰ろう。
On April 26th, 2013, 41-year-old Hugo Avalos Channon was cleaning an industrial meat blender for the Interstate Meat Distributors Company in Clackamas, Oregon, when he fell into the blender feet first. His co-workers heard his screams of agony and raced to shut off the machine, but authorities say Mr. Channon was already dead by the time they reached him. Firefighters were called in the next day to dismantle the machine and remove his body. Hugo Channon worked for DCS Sanitation Management, which was hired to clean the machinery in the meat processing plant. No one is certain how Channon fell in, But an investigation by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration concluded that a coupling connecting two hoses may have switched the machine on while Mr. Channon was spraying it with hot water. They then theorized that part of the hose got caught on a mixing bar and slowly pulled Hugo Channon in feet first due to the hose being wrapped around his body. A state medical examiner said Channon died from blunt force injuries and chopping wounds. During the investigation, other DCS sanitation management employees were observed with hoses wrapped around their bodies as they worked. The Health Administration fined DCS Sanitation $6,300 and Interstate Meats $450 for safety violations. Health Administration inspectors had cited Interstate Meat in October 2012 after finding that machinery in the meat grinding room wasn't properly locked down during cleaning. One inspector said, "An unexpected startup of the machine could cause injuries." Hugo's family filed a $5 million lawsuit against Interstate Meat distributors for failing to uphold their safety regulations.
Should have been a pair of ragged claws, scuttling across the floors of silent seas. And the afternoon, the evening, sleeps so peacefully, smoothed by long fingers, asleep, tired, or it malingers, stretched out on the floor, here beside you and me. Should I, after tea and cakes and ices, have the strength to force the moment to its crisis? But though I have wept and fasted, wept and prayed, though I have seen my head grown slightly bald, brought in upon a platter, I am no prophet, and here's no great matter. I have seen the moment of my greatness flicker, and I have seen the eternal footman hold my coat and snicker. And in short, I was afraid. And would it have been worth it after all? After the cups, the marmalade, the tea, among the porcelain, among some talk of you and me, would it have been worthwhile to have bitten off the matter with a smile, to have squeezed the universe into a ball, to roll it towards some overwhelming question, to say, I am Lazarus, come from the dead, come back to tell you all. I shall tell you all. If one settling a pillow by her head should say, that is not what I meant at all. That is not it at all. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Hello? Hello?